Yo guys, welcome back to this new video to Once Human. Today I'm gonna show you my new corrosion build. Stay tuned. Okay guys, what I use for my corrosion build is, first of all, corrosion, rapid shot style, fire rate plus 25%, draw speed plus 50%, attack minus 10%, and crit damage plus crit rate, because if you have the calibration like this, you will make first of all more crit damage and also have crit rate. And because of the gas mask we use, we will have a lot of crit rate. That means we don't need all the crit rate in our calibration, we also need crit damage. Okay, corrosion with the mod static shock, power surge status duration minus 50% and power surge damage plus 20%. The best mod for corrosion, because there will be no power surge status because of the weapon feature that the weapon has. And here we go, attribute effects, element damage because of static shock talents. Recurve crossbow is secondary with the mod vulnerability amplifier, precision because weak spot damage. The bullseye adds vulnerability plus 8%, in total plus 60% because of the bullseye effect. Third weapon, long axe. Final territory, fortress warfare, for the most DPS possible. So, for the key armor, we use the gas mask hood. After triggering power surge, crit rate plus 35% for 3 seconds. With the mod deviation expert, of course talents because of elemental damage, range minus 25%, fire rate plus 10%, status damage plus 20%. Fire rate, very important. Low move mask, first electrocution, talents because of elemental damage for enemies without power surge status, power surge ultimate damage plus 30%, perfect for our shotgun. Lone wolf gloves with the mod crit amplifier, violent, bastille boots, for the extra 10% weapon damage with the mod slow and steady, violent, because crit damage, melee weapon status damage plus 10% when HP is above 90%, and grants plus 10% additional damage, also very good. So for a jacket, low move jacket of course, with the mod crit damage enhancement, violent, is very hard to get, but later I'm gonna show you some alternatives. Lone wolf pants with the mod Deadshot Violent, each critted by non-melee weapons grants 5% crit damage up to 45%. The effect is removed upon the next reload. Also very good, of course, Violent, crit damage plus 15%. Now to the Cradles. I use status enhancement. After hitting a weak spot, status damage plus 25% for 3 seconds. Handgun enhancement, first round blast, transient impact, Tactical Combo, Deviation Master, Steady Hand, Master Tactician. Here of course my basic stats and battle stats. So after the gear and stats, now we're gonna show you where you can find the mods for the weapons and for the armor sets. First of all, Static Shock. You will find looting of course weapon crates, or defeating treants on hard or master difficulty has a chance to yield this. As alternative, Surge Amplifier. You could use it, but the best mod is Static Shock because there is no power surge status and you get free power surge damage plus 20%. So for the helmet, Deviation Master, as I said, looting armor crates in high level areas. Playing Secure Missile Alpha has a chance to yield this. As alternative, you can use Fateful Strike, cannot deal weak spot damage, crit rate plus 10% and crit damage plus 30%. Also in Silo Alpha. But you will miss the 10% fire rate, because they are also very important for the DPS. So for the next one, the Jacket, crit damage enhancement, crit rate plus 2%, crit damage plus 12%. Of course, Violent for the crit damage is hard to find. You need to grind a lot in the tier 3 areas and open a lot of the weapon and armor crates to find it. As alternative, I would use this mod, Rejuvenating. You can find this mod by looting armor crates in high level areas or playing Secure Missile that has a chance to yield this. For the pants, Deadshot of course, because each crit hit by non-melee weapons grants plus 5% crit damage up to 45%. The effect is removed upon the next reload. You can find it by looting armor crates in high level areas. Playing Secure Missile PSI has a chance to yield this. For the boots, Slow and Steady, looting armor crates in high level areas or playing the Secure Missile PHI on hard or master difficulty. As alternative, Covered Advance, taking no damage for 4 seconds grants plus 20% melee weapon and status damage for 30 seconds. The effect resets when the duration ends. Of course, looting armor crates in high level and playing Secure Missile PHI on hard or master difficulty. For the next one, Crit Amplifier, looting armor crates in high level areas, playing Secure Missile Sigma on hard or master difficulty. You could use the crit boost for a crit rate plus 15%, but like I said in my Shrapnel build, you trade 5% crit rate for 15% crit damage isn't the best deal. There's also status enhancement, 20% damage, but you will lose crit rate and the crit damage, and why we play the shotgun is because the power surge can crit, and that's why we use Crit Amplifier or Crit Boost. For the mask, first Electrocution. For enemies without power surge status, power surge ultimate damage plus 30%. Playing Secure Missile X1 has a chance to yield this, and no weapon crate or armor crate can yield this. Only X1. As alternative, Target Strike when hitting unmarked enemies, crit rate plus 10% and crit damage plus 25%. You can use it as alternative, but the enemy will not always be marked, and that's why we should use first Electrocution, because ultimate damage plus 30%, and that's a lot. Okay, now for the buff foods we should use. I recommend Stargazy Pie, used to increase your crit damage by 25% when your energy is full. As alternative, Mixed Fried Hot Dog, used to increase damage by 20% towards enemies affected by the bullseye. For the next alternative, Bone-in Deviated Sausage, used to increase your damage against bosses damage by 15%. Also very good when you fight against bosses. But like I said, I recommend the Stargazy Pie, is the best of all three. So for the drink buff, Whimsical Drink, status enhancement, used to gain 25% status damage bonus. Plus there is an Ice Treat Memetic, what gives you 30% more bonus on the status enhancement. 25% means you will have 32.5% more damage. And there's also the Chephosaurus Rex, and altogether you can have 44.5% more status damage, and that's very good. And no, there's no alternative for a drink. I recommend only Whimsical Drink because this maximizes your damage to the top. For the bonus effects, I recommend Seabass, slightly increases fire rate, plus 10%, Angelfish, slightly increases crit damage by 5%, Pompano, slightly increases weak spot damage by 5%, Barracuda, slightly increases PSI intensity by 5%. And yes, all these fishes stack up, means you can have PSI, weak spot, crit damage and fire rate all together. And of course they stack up with Stargazy Pie and the Whimsical Drink. Okay guys, now I'm gonna show you the damage. First of all, damage with no buffs, damage with no buffs, damage with Lone Wolf stack, now the damage with marked enemies plus 15% crit rate, now for the Swarfer with marked enemies and Lone Wolf stack. So now for the Swarfer with 3 stacks and marked enemies.